Okay, room 207. The amazing Miss P and her wonderful students were going ahead and making this in response to the fact that we are all going to get great at doing things at least 3 ways in mathematics. So we can push forward on doing incredibly productive and fun stuff with calculators, as well as incredibly fun stuff with doing basic computations in our brains, in our minds, and in our heads, as well as sheets of paper. So here is the set of rules for when you pick up a calculator. As some say, turn it on. That's turning it on. The next thing, like any machine, asking an answer, question, the answer to. So tangent of 45, 1. Things must have been set right in this case. Set up 2 known lines. Click here, y equals x. I'll hit a delete there. Realizing depending how you have your calculator set, this one right here will get you x. Click down, I'll hit delete, delete. Negative x. That's 2 lines, a 45-degree line up and a 45-degree line down. You tend to get out most of these screens by hitting second quit. Set up 4 known points. The best place to include data is to deal in the stat function in edit. And if you notice here, I'll go ahead and delete, and set up again, delete. Set up points x being L1 and y being L2. So I'm going to once again set from -100, enter, and then you have to go over to 100. I'm sorry, I want that to be -100 and to 100, going backwards, delete, 100. Gotta learn how to type better. 100, enter, 100. This is having a hard time. I'm working on a computer. It works better on a calculator. I've got 2 points. Now, 2 diagonal points. Now I might want to put -100 and 100. Delete. And then the opposite. 100 -100. Set up 4 known points. If I haven't done that before, I'll show you again. Turning the calculator on when it's turned off. -100, -100, 100, 100. Thinking about what you're doing. -100, 100, 100, and -100. I will point out here, the most important thing to know about when you're setting up these lists is to keep the list lengths the same. That will be a error that will make the calculator not function. Second quit. Check the mode again. You have float, you have how many decimal places, radian or degrees. Later on you're going to see you'll want to also work with parametric and polar. Second quit. Just check the graphing parameters. How you check the graphing parameters is actually just go ahead and hit a graph. You see what you wanted. You see that x looks like an x, that you can see that that's a 45-degree line. In the end, then finally, the parameters are set here in the zoom. Right, you can zoom in, zoom out. You can do all kinds of things there. You show memory zoom previous. So this basically, where the variables are here. When you want to check the graphing parameters, you hit second. Quit. Go to variables in the window, and you see things are set. X minimum, X maximum, Y minimum, Y maximum. Those are the big ones to check. So you enter that. You see the X minimum is that. Variables, window, X maximum, and you'll see why that is in a little bit. So you want to check those, realizing that you'll be playing and changing those over time. Finally, this thing you want to learn to start to do right away is to put a few variables into parameters. E is actually here, second E to the first power, an important number. Pi I guess that's not pi, this is pi. I'm going to go backwards. Now we're going to put the square root of 2 into b, because Pythagoras dealt with beans. He did not like beans, but we're just learning to not put things in x, y, and t if we can try to avoid it. So we can use then 2, learning to over parenthesize, 2, using the caret, over parenthesize, 1 divided by 2, and then the store button, and then to use the alpha, we're going to put this into B. And once again, another really important number that comes up all the time, especially in tangents, is to put 3, the square root of 3. And 2, we'll put that into N for no beans. Probably not a good one to use either, but we're just learning how to hit alpha. My eyes don't work. N. We now have those numbers. You could continue to put other ones in. You would want to, if it's your calculator, know what numbers you put where. Have a little sheet of paper included with your calculator. At this point in time, you're free to go through and start graphing things like, let's just try one. Y, x equals. You can go to any of these functions here by going down and over and hitting an enter over the equal sign. Enter over the equal sign, and now they will not graph. You can turn on and off the stat plot by hitting second stat plot, going to enter and then clicking it off. There are lots of things here in terms of what things you can do with functions, what things are turned on and off. There's lots and lots of settings in this calculator we will cover in a separate video. But the way we had that lined up right now, we should be able to go ahead and put something in. For instance, there we can still remember you're setting this in the regular mode, so x, this one here, will get you will always get you x, so you can say x squared, and then you can graph it, and then you can start to do things like zoom in, etc. to get closer. The reason why you go through this over time, the reason why you learn to graph by hand by starting with an origin, an x-axis, a y-axis, keeping track of quadrants, drawing a circle or something you know the scale of, so you know the scale of things, is that you want to learn to let the machines work well, and the way the machines and paper works well is to do things in a standard and repeatable way. I hope this helps. We'll let you cut this down as you want if you want to make your own version of a shorter video on YouTube. Thanks for listening.